Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Yolanda, and in today's video I'm going to be giving to you guys the truth about being a student athlete in college. Y'all, this is a video you do not want to miss. And I'm just going to be telling you guys the reality. I'm gonna not sugarcoat it. I'm as real as you can get. I really try to be. But yes, if you guys are interested in this video, please be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe down below. Make sure to turn on post notification to be notified when I post. If I do, let's get on to this video. So I'm just going to be going through a few, like 8 questions or so, but things just revolving around the topic. And so once again, I am a D1 track and field and cross country athlete. I started out at one school, Georgia Southern, my first semester freshman year, and then I transferred to Georgia State, and I currently still am staying there, and that is where I will graduate from. I'm not transferring again, because as much as it's it's a lot, but at the same time not really. But yeah, I guess just kind of going on to the title of the video that I made this. But one thing that I genuinely did not know that was a huge thing, but in a good way, is that when you become a student athlete, you become a part of the NIL whatever thingy, and that has tremendously been so much fun. I feel like just in general, it doesn't matter what D1 or D2, D3 or NAI or whatever program, battling being full-time student and being full-time whatever else it may be, whether that might be employment, athletics, something music related. I feel like just with that in general, it's a lot to also find time for other things. So being able to have an easy way where we can do a part-time little gigs to earn money is really nice. Next thing is, how do I balance academics, practice, competitions, and social life? So the real answer is you just do, you just make the time for it. And it was easy for me my first year, well, second semester, let me specify, because we had a morning block, and then after that you have the whole rest of the day to do whatever. So that whatever it may entail, just a bunch of classes or whatever. But I had the luxury of having my classes online, so your girl was everywhere, at all the school functions, at just everything, and so going into my sophomore year though, I don't know if I'm gonna have that same luxury, because I have literally half online, half in person. But I think I've scheduled it in a way where it's still gonna be chill but still being productive. But yeah, outside of that time though, I might be tired, but I'm gonna put it in my my planner book, and so that's what I've done. And I've just made time. There's times where I just might not feel like it, especially I love going to church, and I go so much. I just make myself go to them because I love that at the end of the day. And not out of a guilty oh, the Lord's gonna be mad at me if I don't go, not something like that, but just generally because sometimes I might be oh yeah, I'm tired, but then when I get there I'm oh, that was just whatever. Sometimes it sucks in a sense, because you might have to miss out on activities and things because, oh, you have a competition that week, or oh, you can't miss practice the next morning. So things like that actually really suck sometimes, because don't get me wrong, I really like my teammates and all, but also being able to be a part of the other student body though too, would be nice to meet people outside of your respective whatever organization or extracurricular activity it is. You know what I'm saying? Do student athletes get treated differently by professors or classmates? So I've not really seen this for real. There might be some teachers that would be oh, that's cool, when's your next game, or how did it go? But for the most part, especially if online teachers, they don't really care, because well, the ones that I were in, they're asynchronous. So those you go at your own pace, so it's you can do months beforehand, so they're you don't have any excuse, which is right though. You really don't have an excuse to not do done. I guess the only advantage that I could really think of is just, well, 2 of them, is that we get to sign up for our classes earlier. So I forget how it works, get to choose before the general body, so I guess priority in that sense is nice. And then also getting excused absences from your teacher, and sometimes they can be lenient because you're in a respective sport. I just have not really encountered that, only because I don't really talk to my teachers. Pressure to perform in the classroom and on the field cannot be too much. So I think, of course, always, because at the end of the day, as fun as it is, sometimes and all. At the end of the day, like, it's business for real. And I never realized it until like this past semester. Like, I never felt it too much, but like, you know, you kind of feel guilty sometimes when you like not performing as well. Like, my performances this past year were like awful. Like, I'm gonna just be real, I'm not really proud of it, but like, it is what it is. It's in the past. Looking forward to the next season. But the reality is that there's just, you know, not just pressure with that, but just with other things, because there's a lot of factors like having to keep your scholarship if you're on one, or making sure you have a spot on the roster, because especially the roster cuts for the big schools, I'm glad at least my school doesn't have that. But just in general though, because, well, I know like even for track it gets more slimmer when it's like you can only have a certain amount of people that can run an event for a race, or a certain amount of people can go to this bigger race, but then other people have to stay back. And there's just a lot of factors like that. So just like that business side, and at the end of the day, like, them having to go based on your performance. And like, I know like at some bigger schools, like what I've heard from like UGA and like University of Florida and like some other schools I've talked to with people, like it can be a lot mentally. It's definitely a lot on both sides, but I think for the academics part it was just whatever for me. But that's only because like I'm like doing my easy classes, but I know once I get into my hard one, that might be a whole nother topic it's in itself. But for the most part, I'd say that things are going pretty well. And sometimes it can be mentally a lot, but I'm glad that at least since I've been, you know, at both of my schools, there's a lot of resources that can help you, whether that may be therapists or doctors or just medical people in general that they offer and to help. So if you do need help, make sure to seek help, because you're not alone, and there's no shame in having to pop some pills, buy prescriptions that are prescription for you if you need to like some help. Like, no shame in that. So next one is, what does a day-to-day life as an athlete look like? So honestly, I'd say, okay, I don't want to go into too much details because I don't want to stalk her, of course, but I feel like for the most part I kind of just already explained this, but it honestly really just depends on your school. Because I know at my last school it was like we'd have practice like in the wee hours of the morning, like 6, like before 7 a.m. practice pretty much for the most part, where I'd have to wake up like 5, 6 a.m. and so it was like there, and then like sometimes we would go to weights right after. Would it be right after? I forgot. But then like I go to like my classes and all, and then sometimes in the evening, I think that's what it was like in the evening having weights. I did not like that format. Like, I would rather just go run, go weights, and then have the rest of the day myself. And that's how it's like at my school here, and I really do love that so much. And I'm glad that they're keeping that for next semester, because I do not know what I would do. Like, that's just too much. Like, I hate sweating, okay, and then taking a shower, and then having to take a shower again in a day. Like, unless like it's just like a, oh, randomly I get dirty again, okay, I'll take a shower. To work out twice a day, that kind of makes me like, it's just like, I just want to be done in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It just really depends on your school. So make sure to ask that before you commit somewhere, because I thought I was a morning person, but I clearly was not. What sacrifices have you had to make? So definitely mental health. Just kidding, no. I left and I was like the top of the state, and then like having to go back down like multiple races this past season, been literally like dead last. Like, that's definitely like my pride was definitely hurt, y'all. Like, I was just like, dang, like I'm actually slow, or is everybody just on steroids? Okay, no, just kidding. I know people don't be taking stuff like that, well, not that I know of, but yeah, like, you know, it can mess with you for real. And there's been so many times where it was just so hard to get out of bed, and just even to get through practice. And like, I would isolate myself because I would just get so sad, and like then I'd start doubting myself. Then I'd be like, oh, like, you know, what if I'm not meant to do this anymore? And it's just like, you're not supposed to doubt yourself, girl. Like, you good just where you're at. And it's literally just my first year. Like, that is not like, that does not mean that this is where I'm gonna end off at, but definitely that. And then just activities and things in general, kind of what I already mentioned earlier, but like, you have to put running above other things. and literally move things around so that it can work. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a part of being on a team. But one thing that I always do prioritize is going home, and ain't nobody finna make me feel bad ever again for going home, because especially if I live close by, I'm going home if I want to. Is being a student athlete worth it in the end? I feel like yes, because I'll go for a basic answer, but then I'll elaborate. But I feel like for the most part, yes. Like, it brought me a good community when I first came here. I didn't gain the freshman of 15. If I did, it was maybe muscles. Not that that matters or whatever. But yeah, like, just being able to have a group of older girls, especially to lead the way and show me around. And, you know, even though I may not be as close to some than others, just being able to be there for each other and to have somebody to lean on and to be that person for other people, and just showing me around, that like it was definitely nice, you know. And I really do appreciate them a lot from just both schools and on. So I think that especially as a freshman, it's so important to get involved. So getting involved in this way was really, you know, tremendously great, because at the end of the day I was a transfer to this school though too, and so making friends in general I was a little bit nervous for. Not that I'm scared to go out and meet people, but I was scared just about the fact that, oh, everybody's already clicked up, has a group of people, and so I was just like, so who am I gonna have? And there was a lot of times that I struggled, and I was just like, you know what, I give up on that. I'll be cordial to the person, but clearly I'm not getting the reciprocated energy back. But yeah, I've just learned a lot just along the way. And yeah, I think ultimately though, the sport itself, it just gave me something familiar, you know, to lean on, especially in such a new environment. But something being consistent, especially like in schedule and all, and doing this one thing that I could be confident in, it was just like, you know, it just came naturally. And so I think overall though, it was a positive impact for the most part. And the last question is, what is one advice you'd give to high schoolers thinking about playing in college? And so I'm gonna say this because honestly I think this is like the best thing you could take away from this video. But at the end of the day, it's a lot being a student athlete. Already just being a student alone, like, yeah girl, be like, ooh, I'd be going through it sometimes. I think that is something definitely to think about long and hard, because there's a lot of pressures, and you know, there's been a lot of points even in this year that pushed me physically and mentally, and especially underperforming. Like, it was a lot. And this isn't to discourage anybody from joining. Like, don't just solely just take my experience, you know, like verbatim, because at the end of the day, like, you know, you have to do what's best for you. But I think that though, with how things are, you just don't fully understand. I feel like for me, and especially like with my performance that I have, like, I was good. I won't lie, I think I was pretty decent in high school, but it's just a different playing field all around in college. And if you just aren't like 100% like passionate about this, then it's just gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be hard finding the motivation to want to get up every single day, to want to make it a practice, to want to like really give in your all. Because essentially, once again, like, you know, as much as you are here for your education, which should be the priority, you're also dealing with the whole other business side of it, of having to also perform. So that can sometimes really get overwhelming. The reality is that's just hard to always be the greatest at everything, like, you know. But I just really encourage, like, you just have to have like the heart for your sport, or just to find, even if it's not even that, just something to be your reason, your why for doing it. And I think that can help carry you throughout the years, because especially through those moments too where it's just like you just want to quit, you know, but it'll remind yourself of that reason why will get you to keep on going, to show up every day, not just for your teammates or for your coaches or for your parents, but for yourself, because at the end of the day, like, you need to make sure that you are good and you're doing these for right reasons. And so yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing rest of your day. Peace is already out.